Hi everyone, it's the Louis Vuitton Princess. Welcome back. So first off, thank you guys for being so patient with me and bearing with me. I did finally turn the camera, so I hope this works. I had a bunch of people always tell me that I should turn my camera, what do they call that? Hamburger instead of hot dog, whatever. I had lots of people tell me I should turn my camera landscape, I think. So thank you guys for telling me that, and I'm sorry I haven't done it in the past. It's not because I was just like ignoring your request, it's because I'm honestly just so used to filming the other way that I usually would forget. So as I said in one of my introduction videos, I used to film a lot on IGTV, and on IGTV the videos always looked best the opposite way. So sorry about that. I'm gonna make a big effort to try and remember it. So, if you are here today, it is because you are here to see my Louis Vuitton makeup duo. So, one of these items is an item that was featured in my entire Louis Vuitton collection video, which if you have not seen that, feel free to head over to my page and you can see it there. And another one of these items is actually a new purchase. So, I try to make an effort to film reveals for all of my new purchases, but some days I'm just not feeling it. So this item actually came in yesterday. I've had an insane work week, so I was just way too tired to film a reveal for it. So I am filming that reveal today instead. So sorry about that. But either way, this is my Louis Vuitton makeup duo. So I'm going to start with a piece that you guys have already seen, and that is my Louis Vuitton Rondee. So this is a vintage piece. It is not one that you see a ton, but they're not necessarily rare either. So a fun fact about the Rondee is this piece was, well, okay, I don't want to just tell you guys. So I'm going to just show you more about it and then I'm going to revisit. So the question is, what do you think this piece, the original function was for this piece? That's the question. So I'm going to revisit that. So this is my Louis Vuitton Rondee. I purchased this a couple years ago. I think I paid like maybe $199 or something for it. It was very cheap. So you can see here's the Louis Vuitton made in stamp. This one was made in France, and it's a very simple little barrel. It kind of looks similar to the Papillons, but it's definitely bigger. So I'll open it up. So I don't have a date code because this was one of those classic Louis Vuitton pieces that had that sticky lining stuff, and so the sticky lining was removed. So most commonly when you see these being used now, you see them being used as makeup pouches or pencil pouches. I actually use mine for both. But currently I'm using it as a makeup pouch. So now that you've had some time to think about the question that I asked you, what was the original function of this piece? The original function of this piece was actually a golf ball holder, which I find hilarious. So I haven't filmed this video on YouTube yet, but I did film it on my IGTV, and I actually thought it was a really fun video where basically I showed a bunch of Louis Vuitton pieces I have in my collection, and I talked about what their original use was for, because there's a lot of Louis Vuitton items that were made for one purpose, but people typically use them a lot differently. So that's a pretty fun video to look at and check out. But this is the Louis Vuitton Rondee. I use this as sort of like an extra place to carry makeup brushes. So if I have any sort of like makeup brushes, you know, this type of stuff, then it typically will go in my Rondee. Also, if I have, you know, longer sort of pencils, so this is my Chanel lip liner. If I have these longer sort of makeup pencil style things, they will also typically go in my Rondee. So this is just sort of an example of what I use my Rondee for, as well as like my massive collection of lip glosses. So as you guys know, I don't wear a ton of makeup. Like what I'm wearing now is basically the most makeup I really wear, lip gloss, and I got this really nice blush from Glossier that I'm like obsessed with. So I don't wear a ton of makeup. So I think that's why I kind of delayed getting a makeup bag. But then a couple days ago, I decided I wanted to buy some more stuff from Glossier. And I mean, mine as well. I always love an excuse to buy a new Louis Vuitton piece. So with all of the additions that I purchased from Glossier, I purchased this like finishing powder. I purchased another concealer. I purchased their skin tint. So I purchased quite a bit of stuff from Glossier, and my original OG Rondee was just not cut out to carry it all. So that is what led me to buy the next piece I'm going to show you. So this is the reveal part of the video. Very excited for this. And it is the Louis Vuitton Blush GM. So this is another one of those vintage pieces. And again, I'm probably going to go on like a short rant here. So just brace yourself. You guys know I love ranting. One of the reasons I really love vintage era Louis Vuitton is because I feel like they made so many functional pieces back then. Like, I just don't feel like the pieces they make now are really function centered. Like, not only is the quality poor, and they usually are just reusing old designs at this point, but it's like I don't feel like they make a ton of functional pieces, and it kind of irritates me. So the Blush GM is just a very functional piece. So again, these are not rare, but you don't see a ton of them, right? Louis Vuitton has a lot of different cosmetic options that you can choose from. So this is actually called the Trousse blush. So there are a lot of cosmetic options. You know, you see there's the Campagne, you have the regular Trousse. I can't remember the name of the other one right now. It's escaping me, but the one like most people use, it's like kind of a rigid square and it has a tail. It has like a tail on the end. So Louis Vuitton has quite a few cosmetic bags to choose from. And you kind of have to pick where you want to fall. So typically the traditional trousses, which are just more like a pouch, you can usually find those for pretty cheap. I've avoided those because they typically crack, they don't age well, it's just not a good look. And they don't have any sort of built-in organization, which is something that's big for me. So back on my old YouTube, I filmed my Louis Vuitton Spontini, which is an actual Louis Vuitton makeup bag. Like, it's a bag, it has handles, and there are brush holders on the inside. So I really like functional makeup pieces. There are so many different Louis Vuitton makeup bags, and I didn't quite want the Spontini. I didn't quite want like a handbag again. I definitely wanted a makeup case, you know, makeup travel piece, but I needed it to be functional in terms of having storage, pockets, you know, brush holders, all of that. And so that is why I went with the Blush GM. So not to be confused with the Blush PM. This piece comes in 2 sizes. So if you are looking to carry full-sized makeup, you definitely want the Blush GM. Now, when I say full-sized makeup, I mean like if you have, you know, long pencils, long brushes, you can see how they fit with the Blush GM. Versus, you know, if you're just carrying sort of smaller things, you know, I have some of my Chanel makeup, the Blush PM will probably work, but I purchased the Blush GM because I knew I had some larger things. I had larger blushes. I mean, even this Glossier powder is fairly large. So I went with the Blush GM. So it's like, again, just to reiterate, if you kind of just want to have like a very small makeup bag to carry, couple lip glosses, maybe a mascara, Blush PM. But if you actually want a full-size makeup case to carry your brushes, your palettes, all of that, you definitely want the GM. So let's take a look. So the GM is an all canvas piece. I think it's very pretty. There's no cracks on it, you know, that beautiful vintage quality. And I love that it's got the double-sided zippers. And this is another thing I really like, is I like when the zippers go all the way around and the piece opens up completely. So we'll start with this side. So this side of the Blush GM has your brush storage. Yeah, I need to rub that little stain out that came from one of my concealers. So this side, and again, this is lined with the Louis Vuitton waterproof lining. So if you do get stains like this from your makeup brushes, you can just wipe it off with a makeup wipe. It's no big deal. So this side is your brush storage. It has your 3 loops where you can fit your brushes. As you can see, I have a pretty big brush. This is the Glossier, I think, Wonder brush. So I have a pretty big brush in here, and it fits nicely. And then if you also just have a ton of makeup, you can put the brushes in here, and then you can still like put some other items over on this side when you close it. This piece has a lot of flexibility, so you can still do that. And I actually recommend that because, as you can see, this is one of those pieces where if you don't stuff it, it kind of loses its shape a little bit. So this is a rare occasion where I recommend keeping the piece very full because it is an all canvas piece, so it doesn't really have anything else to help with structure. So also in here is where you're gonna find your Louis Vuitton made in stamp. So as you can see, this piece was made in France. So this is the first side of the Louis Vuitton Blush GM. So we'll go ahead and close that up. And then we're gonna go to the back side over here. And so this is your larger sort of storage area. So again, you have 3 sort of loops, and it's empty, mostly empty because I wanted to show you guys. But I have a ton of makeup on my table that came out of here. So it can hold a lot of stuff. So this is the other side of the Blush GM. So again, you have 3 sort of spaces to store brushes. I have my Glossier lip glosses over here, but you can also store brushes. And then you have this side, which is your main storage. You can see this is where most of the depth is in the piece. And this is where you're gonna store most of your larger items. You know, if you have powders, foundations, you know, all that good stuff, you're going to store on this side. And currently I have my Glossier free samples back here, but you have this little pocket. And this pocket is great. So, you know, I have like this powder I can tuck in there. I have this concealer I can tuck in there. I have my skin tint I can tuck in there. So it's like you can fit quite a bit of stuff back here. And then another great thing about this piece is just like on the other side, even once it's closed, you can still fit stuff in all around here, down here at the bottom. There's still plenty of space where you can kind of just throw stuff in there and go with it. So ultimately, I'm really happy with this piece. Again, I don't wear a ton of makeup, but I still really like this piece just for the level of organization and functionality that it offers. I really like that. It's very lightweight, relatively compact. I think it's a great size. It's perfect if you want to throw it in a suitcase. The other reason I like this piece over other cosmetics is, again, there is no exterior vachetta. That's actually something that I really don't like about my Campaign that I have, which is my other Louis Vuitton sort of toiletry bag, is it has vachetta on the outside. And that's kind of annoying to me because it's like, it's a toiletry piece, meaning, you know, you're gonna have it, you know, in a bathroom sometimes. Like I remember I went on vacation for my birthday and I put my Campaign in the bathroom, you know, with the big mirror because I had my makeup in it at the time. Then I'm like, this is a recipe for disaster. It's gonna end up getting wet, all that. So I like this option a lot because there is no vachetta on the outside. So I would feel very comfortable, you know, setting this on a vanity or setting this on a bathroom countertop or something like that. I would feel very comfortable with that because there's no exterior vachetta that can be messed up. So anyways, I paid $4.25 for this piece. It was a bit pricey for my liking, but sometimes when we want things, we have to just pay the money, and that's okay. $4.25 is actually a competitive price for these. These do sell in the 400, 500, 600 range these days. So 425 was on the lower end for this, especially because, as I showed you guys, this one was in really, really good condition. So the pricing was competitive. So anyways, I don't want to make this a really long video. I will probably film a follow-up review as I use this piece more, but I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it taught you something about this piece. And again, this is the Louis Vuitton Trousse Blush GM. I don't think I mentioned this, but this one is from 2000, so it is a 22-year-old piece. Excellent vintage Louis Vuitton quality. So as always, if you want to see more of my collection or more of my content, feel free to head over to the Louis Vuitton Princess on Instagram. If you want to shop, consign, or source, I forgot the last one. Shop, consign, or source with me, feel free to check out Shop LV Princess on Instagram. And if you want to see more of Louis Vuitton, feel free to follow my blog, Vuitton in Black. Thanks, guys.